introduce you to start and tell you a little bit about who we are, and it'll give you an idea about how we work and why what we've been doing recently over the past 18 months has actually transformed our business. I'll start with, we are an experience design consultancy at the pace of change. And I'm thinking, what does that actually mean? So our world is changing at an incredible speed. We've only seen today how quick we are using these tools to collaborate, to generate, to talk, to communicate. And we have constantly shifting needs and attitudes and behaviors because of it. And at start, we're experts in these changes. We help businesses to quickly adapt better to meet the needs of those changes. And we consult with the businesses to help them adjust to meet the needs of their customers. So what does that mean? We work with them to sort of design through their problems across physical, digital, and human interactions. So we might design a brand, we might design a retail space, we might design a brand experience across different social channels. It could be anything. We don't start there, we start at the strategic view of what it needs to be. We're very solution agnostic when we begin our process. And we're independent, which and our size allows us to work side by side with our partners and our clients in that collaborative and agile way. We have a diverse, multi-talented team that specializes in brand consultancy, retail, digital transformation and the technology around that, advertising and comms and brand experience, and none of these are mutually exclusive. They work together, as I'm sure many of you are aware. So depending on what the needs of our customers are and their customers and the end users, it might be a piece of brand positioning, it might be a retail store, it might be both together. We have quite a diverse client base to boot, which you can sort of see. These are some of them that we worked with over the years. Many we are still working with across fashion, beauty, transport, fintech. We're doing quite a lot of work with banks at the moment to look at what the future of banking is going to be, what the future of payments means. Automotive, which is an area that I really want to get more into. I'm sure everybody does as well. And leisure, and the list goes on. So our teams, our really talented teams, I have to say, they're fantastic. A split between London, Dubai, and Manchester. Certain times of the year, I want to work in the Dubai office, that's for sure. And they're all very culturally different. We have, as I said, clients across the world as well that we work with. And therefore, it's extremely important that we have a collaborative method that sort of brings all these teams together and how we work. We've got client services, we've got strategy teams, we've got design teams, we've got technology teams, and they're in different places. So, yeah, being able to join our expertise up has been, it's been mind-blowing really to watch that happen and see the effect of it. Over the years, I'm going to say years because this has been happening for some time, I think especially at our company, before I got there, lots of software was being introduced. We need to try this piece of cloud collaborative software because it's going to streamline our process. We need to use this because it's going to be cost effective, and then somebody else comes in and says we need to use this, and before you know it, you have this kind of technological landscape. And whilst the ideas were to encourage collaborative working and to reduce costs, that isn't what happens. It introduces confusion to the process, and what I found when I got there was that it was an eye-watering annual software bill as well. And I'm probably not the only person that's experienced this or is currently in this, and some of them I didn't even know what they were. But we certainly didn't need them. You may have read in a recent Forrester report by Keith Johnson that one prediction for 2019 is how technology will drive customer experience. But what's more importantly is Johnson talks about how technology needs to work harder to emphasize the four forces underlying consumer technology adoption. Tools, coordination, conversation, and emotion. You're wondering why am I talking about this, but it absolutely plays into this whole collaborative platform that we're talking about. This doesn't mean layering tech stacks with more vendors and more tools. It means consolidation and enhancement of the better platforms that we have at hand. So from our point of view, we must adopt this way of thinking in order to define the best strategies for our clients. So they can adapt to the pace of change. So it comes around in a circle and align themselves with the modern needs of their customers. So after a period of consultation internally, a lot of it internally, and externally with people we know, people that have experienced, we decided that Google was going to be the way forward for us. We were introduced to Damson Cloud through recommendation, which was absolutely brilliant. And they've provided absolutely great guidance and support from the moment we met them. So I'm not going to big them up too much, but they have been, they've really have been good. No. We were already using Google Slides in our organization. I mean, we were really using Google Slides. It became a big part of how we presented our credentials, how we presented our propositions to clients, and how we started just to pull our ideas together internally. But the problem was these were all individuals with their own Gmail accounts, so we had content absolutely everywhere. So a priority for us was to bring that back into Start ownership, to protect the IP. There's a lot of IP out there that's ours that is in everybody else's Gmail account. And from a security point of view as well. So that was we realized that actually this is the way that we can do it. So as I said, slides is one of the biggest things that we use. Often we've got 10 people, maybe more, contributing at any one time to putting a deck together. And it's great to see actually the designers getting creative with what they can do in these decks. Animations, typography, imagery, video. And I was when I was sat there before, sort of going through the stuff that Finson was demonstrating, I forget how far we've come and how much we use these products. Yesterday, a couple of days ago, we had a briefing from a client, a big turnaround. And this is true. I'm not just making this up as a made-up anecdote. This did happen, and we had to rally everybody around very, very quickly. Not only that, we had to use the expertise of some people that we had in Dubai, and we also wanted some physical environmental design contribution as well from Manchester. And within 24 hours, we pulled together the most amazing strategic and designed creative execution that I've seen in so long. We presented it yesterday afternoon, and the client was absolutely bowled over. It was brilliant. It was great to watch that process happen and to be part of it. We use docs to prepare our proposals and any formal communications, and sheets to calculate budgets. Oh, well, somebody does. Cost estimates and general financials. But what's great is we can plug that into our docs, we can plug that into our sheets, we can have one central place to update our costings, and that just automatically feeds into the deck that we're then going to share with the client. Brilliant, works really well. And then Hangouts has just been a game changer, an absolute game changer. We meet all the time, and they just might be 5-minute catch-ups. We do it remotely from the different offices. I work from home sometimes because I live in Bakewell, if anyone knows where that is, which is great, it's beautiful. But most of my team is in London, or some of it's in Manchester, and I also have teams in Dubai. But I can sit there eating my Bakewell tart and and talk over Hangouts. It has just worked. And we're now reviewing how we can incorporate Hangout Chat, which is introduce the rooms into that tool, which might then replace Slack, which is a bit controversial, so I'm going to tread carefully on that recommendation. And Mail, it just works. It works so well, and it works across all our devices. Enough said on that. And Calendar, you probably all use that. it just ties everything together quite nicely. And last but no means least, Google Drive. I think this is where Finton and the rest of the team started to have a little bit of a nervous breakdown. We had 70 terabytes of data sat on file servers. I didn't know we had that much. It was an incredibly large amount for us. We're not a massive company, but we've got a lot of data. And this has accumulated over the years. So this is where there was a bit of a kind of, everything went quiet. And we talked about, well, how do we migrate this? I think the first response was, well, have you got 6 months? Because that's how long it was going to take to migrate it. But what it did is it forced us to look at what that live data actually was and whether it was live data or whether it was data that could be archived and go to cold storage. And it forced us to review what live data means to us and clean it up ready for migration. And then behind the scenes, these guys just put in a plan to help us migrate that, including the folder structure and files, the topography that we talked about. Someone mentioned it earlier about how do you do this? You know, you still need to have governance around file structure. You absolutely do. Whilst the search is brilliant, you still need to put in that plan for how you migrate it. And I think I probably undersold the amount of work that they actually had to do here. So I think I should say thank you again for that. What it's also done is reduced our annual storage spend significantly, because that was costing us a fortune. That's costing us nothing, which is brilliant. Tick for me. So, and of course, it couldn't happen if we didn't have everybody getting involved. You saw a slide similar to this earlier, that collaboration right from the start, getting people onto that journey, involved in it right from the start, made sure that adoption was going to be a lot easier. Some people had a good grasp of G Suite, whilst other people, this was the first time they'd ever seen it and used it. So taking them on that journey was absolutely critical. And Damson Cloud set up these workshops where we got people over from the Dubai team, down from Manchester, and we started looking at how we wanted it to work for our business, how we needed it to work for our business. So yeah, taking people on that journey is one of my biggest bits of advice to anyone. So important. And then there's other integrations that we needed to think about. So we sort of stripped everything back. What are those things that we really need to make our business different? What do we really need to make collaboration work? And then what are the other integrations we need, the simpler integrations we need from a day-to-day point of view? Robin is our meeting room management, which is brilliant. It ties in seamlessly to the calendar app, which is brilliant. Again, across all locations. So if I was going to go out to Dubai and needed to book a meeting room, or up to Manchester, I can book meeting rooms in advance absolutely perfectly. HubSpot is our CRM. I don't know a great deal about HubSpot, other than anything that comes into our business through email or any kind of comms, I can tag it and I can attach it to clients, I can attach it to projects, and I can add follow-up comms to that as well. And Adobe Creative Cloud, I don't know if anybody uses Creative Cloud. It's getting so good. It is an incredible suite of products, especially for a design consultancy like ours. There's not every integration under the sun that we need, but it's getting there. And the most important thing, again, for us is how we collaborate on artwork, how do we share asset libraries, and how do we make sure that all our files are being synchronized back up to our cloud. So I was talking to Simon earlier about the size of files, and somebody else was talking to, that we had to put an intermediary method in place that allowed us to have a localized server then synchronized to our team drives. Perfect, it works. It just works. So we're exploring that even further, and how we can take that, build upon how we collaborate with Creative Clouds. So for start, to continue defining great brand experiences at the pace of change that our clients need, we need fast, reliable, and collaborative platforms to do it. That's it. Thank you.